What's going on, everyone? My name's Security Denied, and I just saw this post on my feed like 2 seconds ago. And I don't normally cover news posts like this, but I saw it and I read a little bit of it, and I wanted to read it on a video and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on this particular topic, that being this news post right here. 2 months after promising a roadmap, Bungie's silence has fans calling Destiny 2 leaderless and out of options now, by Zahad Ali. 2 months after Bungie said a roadmap was coming in the next few weeks, Destiny 2 players are worried about the game's direction and its player count hits record lows. Destiny 2 is still chugging along, but it's hard to ignore just how quiet things have gotten. Right now, Festival of the Lost is live, which added new and returning weapons, new armor sets, and an updated version of the Altars of Sorrow activity called Haunted Altars. But even with all this, it's clearly not doing enough to bring players back. In fact, interest has dropped so low that the game's population recently fell to its lowest point in franchise history, even dipping below the infamous Curse of Osiris lows from 2018, a period Bungie once said nearly killed the game. On Steam, the game has hit what appears to be its lowest ever concurrent Steam player count of 6,876 players during off-peak hours, with monthly average players down more than 65% since July of 2025. So this is a picture of the roadmap that they came out with for the Year of Prophecy, that being this year. And there hasn't been really any updates or news on post Edge of Fate stuff yet. For longtime players, it's not just the numbers that sting, it's the silence. One of the biggest frustrations across the community right now is Bungie's failure to deliver the roadmap it promised nearly 2 months ago during the Renegades reveal livestream on September 9th. Fans were hoping it might reignite some excitement about the future. Instead, week after week has gone by with no update in sight. Okay, this is kind of what I want to talk about. I think, unfortunately, Bungie has set up a system of communication with the community that is kind of toxic, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not healthy for the community to, or Bungie really, to have constant news over and over again, right? And it's such a short time span as well. Like, I understand weekly updates week to week, and I know the last week's TWID, I posted a video about it. It was bare bones nothing, right? And I will say that is not good. At least they could say, hey, we're still working on this, don't worry, it's still in the works, kind of something. They did say at the end of the TWAB or TWID or whatever from last week that this upcoming Thursday we're going to be getting news about the sandbox update for Renegades, I think is what it said. And so at least that's a little hope that there is some news coming. But as for a roadmap, I think that the community has gotten a little toxic with wanting more and more in shorter time spans. And I think Bungie is taking, or I guess making, a very hard decision with holding back and really delving deep into what they're working on and what they want to share. And I think it's a good thing. I think secrecy is a good thing, and that is what has been missing from the franchise for a long time. Everyone wants mysteries in Destiny. And right now, there's not really a whole lot of puzzle solving or mysteries in the game. I feel like players know everything. And the issue, I think, stems from us knowing everything before it comes out, right? Like, we know about all the exotic missions that are releasing. We know about all of the secrets and puzzles that they're putting into the games. We get a hint at everything. Like, even in the Edge of Fate, they promised us puzzles and secrets, but then during all of the reveals, they showed us what the puzzles and secrets were during the live streams. And I think the community has gotten to a point where we just want to know everything that's going on in the game. We want to know everything that's going on behind the freaking curtain, behind the curtains during production of the game and things like that. And it's gotten really toxic. I'll have to say that. It's gotten really toxic. And I'm fine with waiting to hear about the game. I'm fine with not knowing what's going on in the game. It makes me excited to see what's coming in Renegades. Because we know everything. Like, people get excited for what's been released, but they already know everything. There's nothing left to experience that hype of experiencing it for the first time, you know? And it sucks. We didn't used to get all of this information. We didn't used to get any information. We used to just get the release, experience the release, have the extreme hype of it, and want to replay it again. But I feel like with how information is being shared now, we get the initial hype of being like, holy crap, this is what it's going to be. And we know everything as if we're experiencing it that first time, right? But then we get that second experience of actually playing it like in person, you know, in our own hands. And that's really all we need. And that's when our hype for that expansion starts to dip, right? Because it peaked during the first reveal and it peaked again when we got our hands on, and then it kind of fell. I think what has been revealed to us right now with gameplay and sneak peeks of activities is great. And even a little sneak peek of what the story is going to be, but we don't need more than that. Honestly, I think that what they revealed so far is perfect, and I'm hyped for Renegades. I think it's going to be great, not only because I love Star Wars and do I love Destiny, but I'm excited for this story. I think our players are starting to have a little bit more stake in what's going on and the choices that we're making and designing our own fate. And I think that they're making a really good change and step into the right direction with where Bungie and Destiny should be going. But as for this topic right here with not getting a roadmap that they promised 2 months ago, I think they're making the hard decision to hold off on releasing what they are going to be doing to keep that secrecy and mystery and bring it back into the franchise. At least my point of view, I think that's what's going on, but I hope that's what's going on, because I think we really need that right now is a little bit of that mystery going into Renegades and future expansions and things like that. Anyways, let's continue to read and see what else they have to say. Lack of Destiny 2 roadmap is making Bungie look leaderless, says Destiny 2 fans. This frustration recently boiled over on Reddit, where a post titled "Lack of Roadmap is making Bungie look leaderless" shot to the top of the Destiny subreddit. The post argued that Bungie's silence is starting to feel like a lack of leadership, especially as the communication dries up. The user noted that Bungie's own messaging back in 2024 promised more transparency and a stronger connection with the player base. After months of waiting for any statement of vision, you start to ask, what's taking so long? To me, the best bet is likely politics inside the studio about who's in charge, the post reads. In the meantime, players sit at home and watch player counts drop. Online sentiment curdle and uninspired content drops rife with bugs land with a deafening thud, without so much as a promise of a better tomorrow to brighten their hearts. And I do think that there is a lot of politics going on in the studio right now with leadership and who's in charge and what they're doing. And I still think that they're figuring out and letting the dust settle from all the leadership changes that have happened back to back to back, really. But I definitely think that they are starting to figure it out, and I think Renegades is their opportunity to really dial in and figure out what they want and where they're going for the gaming franchise, or for the game franchise. The user pointed to how previous game directors like Joe Blackburn and Luke Smith regularly address the community, but current director Tyson Green has stayed mostly behind the scenes, even as Destiny's population drops and community frustration grows. With Pete Parsons stepping down as CEO and Justin Truman newly in charge, players say the situation feels uncertain at best. I honestly think that Tyson Green as a game director is, as I said, trying to figure things out. He's coming together with all the teams, figuring out where they're at with production and ideas and where everything's going. And I think right now he's trying to bring everything back together to make a cohesive experience and fun and enjoyable, as fun as enjoyable as possible. Um, and I think Justin Truman is probably working with Sony right now, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with Sony taking over Bungie, pretty much. I think they got a lot on their plates. I will say that they got a lot on their plates, but I hope that they're figuring things out and that they're coming together in a little bit more organized way and hopefully getting things back together. One Reddit user questioned whether a roadmap would even help. Even if we get a roadmap, will it be a good roadmap that sets this franchise forward and one that the community likes? I think part of the reason why they haven't released it so far is that they don't really have much of anything to offer differently other than what was already in their annual calendar. They know people have turned out. They probably have an idea that there isn't much excitement about Renegades coming from who's left in their player base. So really, they're just out of options now. I know this has been said about this franchise forever, but I truly believe that if Renegades launches with the same half-baked content as Edge of Fate, with the same amount of bugs and with the same problematic major update, that will be it for this game. And honestly, I think that's why they're so quiet. They're figuring out what is important and what's not important and where they need to fix things, doing test after test after test, figuring out what needs to be done. At least I hope that's what's going on. Another added, I think that Bungie had big plans for expanding the portal over the next year, and those plans have been wrecked by Edge of Fate's poor reception. The portal likely entered development during Blackburn's tenure, considering that it was announced in September 2024. They can't just write it off and throw it away. They're in too deep. Unfortunately, salvaging this mess is no easier. I agree. I think the portal, with how it launched, was not good. I think they kind of tainted how the portal was supposed to be with how it launched and what it could have been. I definitely think there's a lot of iterations on the portal that could be done to make it better, but I think it took away from the Destiny experience, the core Destiny experience, by trying to funnel everything into one area. And I feel like it lost a little bit of its magic with opening up and seeing the universe through the directory and seeing all of these planets that you can go on, wondering what's on those planets, why are we going there, like what's going on those planets. And I feel like the magic of Destiny was kind of lost with a basic portal screen that turned into just like every other game that we've seen thousands of times. And I think it's a little rough to open up to that. I think honestly, if we just went back to opening up at the directory and then just tabbing over to the portal if we need to, would change the experience for everyone. During the Renegades livestream on September 9th, Bungie's principal communications manager, Dylan Gaffner, told fans that a new roadmap was coming in the next few weeks. On October 1st, he followed up saying the team was aligning on plans and timelines. Then October 14th, Gaffner apologized for the long wait, saying there was still no ETA, but that the roadmap would be released as soon as it's ready. Now, nearly 8 weeks later, there's still no sign of it. A big hope among the remaining Destiny 2 fans is that the roadmap, when it finally shows up, will bring some kind of reassurance about the long-term future of the game. But it's worth managing expectations. During the Renegades reveal, Gaffner called it the Road to Renegades, which suggests the roadmap might just focus on the next expansion's rollout, not what comes after. Renegades, the Star Wars-inspired expansion featuring new abilities, a social hub, and the Lawless Frontiers activity, is set to launch on December 2nd of 2025, which is coming up soon. We're already in November. So we have a month to regain some hype, right? And I'm not sure what can be released in a roadmap that will bring back that hype. I honestly think that we just need to let players experience Renegades, and if it's hype, they'll share about it, right? I feel like the streamer of Destiny 2 they have really loud voices in the community, and if it's a really good expansion and they think that everyone should try it, and if the gameplay looks great and the gameplay loop is phenomenal, that's what's going to bring people back in. You're going to be like, oh shit, this looks fun. Like, this looks like a genuinely good time. They'll come back. And that's what I think they kind of need. I mean, that's what got me into Destiny, was watching my friends play and see how fun it looked and how much fun they were having. And that's why I got in the game. So that's my personal opinion. I definitely think if we want to inspire people to come back, it's going to be through the game instead of a roadmap. My personal opinion. Unofficially, Destiny 2 release roadmap. While Bungie still hasn't released an official long-term roadmap, we've put together a breakdown of all the major upcoming content drops for Destiny 2 based on the currently known and expected release windows. Renegades, December 2nd, 2025. Shadow and Order major update, March 3rd of 2026. Shattered Cycle, summer of 2026. Shattered Cycle major update, September 2026. The Alchemist, winter 2026. The Alchemist major update, March 2027. All right. So that's that post. I definitely think that the silence is tough. The silence, especially with them not even saying like, hey, we're still working on it. Like, I know they said that they're working on it on October 14th. It's been a while since then, and we haven't heard anything. I know this next week on Thursday, the new Twit's coming out, and it's supposed to have Renegades news with the sandbox updates and things like that. Hopefully a little bit more than just sandbox stuff, but I will be posting a video of that, so stay tuned on Thursday for that update. I hope they bring back mystery into the game. I don't think we need a roadmap, even though they promised it. I don't think we need it. I definitely think that we need some mystery back in the game. That'll be brought by a little less communication. And I think that's a good thing. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, whether you think that we need more or less communication from Bungie, or whether you think that we do need a roadmap to bring people back. But yeah, those are my thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, especially if you want to hear more news like this. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye!